Good morning. I'm Rosemary DiTrolio, and you're listening to The Lightwalker's Path. It's a place to develop new insights, find your soul's purpose, hear enlightening conversation, and be inspired. Good morning. This is Rosemary DiTrolio, and I'm the host of The Lightwalker's Path. We're streaming on multiple platforms, and you can join me Tuesdays at 10 Eastern to find enlightening soul purpose and information that can help to shift you. You can find replays on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other streaming platforms. It's also on my website. My guest today is Ryan Dunphy, time management expert, and he agreed to interview me today to turn the tables on my show. And today he's my guest and I'm his guest. So I want to welcome Ryan to the show. Hi,
Wonderful.
Ryan.
Thank you very much, Rosemary. I
Thank,
appreciate it. It was fun to be your guest last week, and now I'm your guest host this
there
week.
we
So,
go.
yes, the tables are turning, and I just want to start with celebrating you for being you. Thank you, Rosemary. I appreciate your light out in the world.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so you have some questions for me, and you could shoot them at me whenever you are ready.
I do. All right, we're going to jump right into it. One of my favorite questions to explore with people, and I do this a lot, even on LinkedIn. The weather
Mhm.
outside is weather, right? Rosemary, what is something fun that's gone right for you already this week?
Just the fact that I've connected with some friends I hadn't seen in a while. So one of my friends and I, we went out for lunch together, and then my husband and I did we have this thing in Hope, where I live, that they have this Christmas market every year, and so we did that. So we've been just enjoying just doing some of the seasonal things this past week.
Wonderful. Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, and I share that. I actually came up with it as an icebreaker. I used to lead a lot of outdoor events and
Uh,
adventures. And this was the hike actually I'd hosted at Merrill Creek, which isn't too
uh,
far from you.
yeah, yeah,
And I always
but
like to get people to share something good, to focus on gratitude. And
sure,
it's a cool way to get
yeah,
to know other people. So
it
I've been
is.
using that in a lot of what's something fun that's gone right for you recently, or what's something fun that's gone right for you already this week.
Right.
That's wonderful.
Good.
Well, Rosemary, I'm sure that your listeners have been with you for a long time, and well, I'm excited to dive in even deeper on you because it's always fun to be the host. But today you're getting grilled in a healthy, fun way. So,
Okay.
Rosemary, when it comes to your personal spark of what you do with your life, with your business, with your mission, would you share with us maybe some magical moments that you've had that have just been those aha, this is why I do what I do kind of moments and stories? Would you share a couple of those with us, please?
Yeah, so teaching always has lit me up, whether it be with children or with adults. So when I retired from teaching, I really delved more into my business. The thing that really lit me up, excuse me, originally was when I realized that I had this direct connection with the angel realm and I was able to channel their words and then I was able to help people with it. And it took me like maybe 2 or 3 years working on just getting information for myself before I even told anybody that I can do this. And then people started just asking me. And that's kind of how I started channeling for other people. But it was so exciting to find out that like this was the rest of my path that I was missing, that I was trying to, the angels were trying to guide me for years. Like, you're supposed to also do this. And I just never stepped into it completely. So that was really exciting for me to know that I can help people with what I can do.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And tell us a couple stories about people you've had a chance to interact with over the years that just that'll those stories stick with you for your whole life. Share one or two of those.
Sure. So one of my good friends, I used to teach with her years ago. I won't tell you her name, but
Sure.
we became friends through the years. And before I knew her very well, she knew that I was channeling. So she said, "Would you mind channeling a message for me?" And at the time, she was kind of at the beginning of her journey. So I channeled an angel reading for her. And one of the things that it did for her was give her confidence to know that she was on the right path and that she can embrace her spiritual path as well. And when she got pregnant with her daughter, her whole body broke out in a rash. And she already was suffering with some skin issues to begin with, and this just made it worse. So when I channeled the reading, I found out that her daughter bonded with her to clear past karma. They had a very negative karmic connection from a past life together. So this kid came in really angry, and when she came in angry, it flamed her mother's anger in her whole body. And just knowing that she understood the connection was going to be a little bit difficult, but it was part of their karmic path to heal. And at this point, her daughter is, college age, and she's gone through many years knowing me and understanding the messages that were coming in for her and her daughters. Her other daughter came in as a peacemaker, and I knew she was pregnant before she knew she was going to get pregnant. And I said to her, "You've got a peacemaker coming in. So pretty soon you're going to be pregnant again." She's like, "Oh my gosh, I got one already. What am I going to do?" I said, "No, this one's the peacemaker, and she's going to be the fulcrum between you and your other daughter. And her relationship with you will be very different than the one you have now with this other girl." And true to the
Mhm.
fact that all worked out, because within a couple months later, she finds out she's pregnant, and this daughter is the peacemaker. So that was a very cool experience to be able to work with her over years to, know her story and things. So
I
yeah,
love
that's
that.
one of
Wonderful.
the many.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you for sharing that, Rosemary. That's great. And I
yeah.
want to acknowledge you and celebrate you. You felt this calling to another path or a different version or a new chapter. What advice do you have for people that are feeling whether it's called or pulled or pushed or different things, or they're out of alignment, they're off of that fulcrum, that
Yeah.
that balance point? What advice do you have for people that are thinking about a big change or being open to a big change, something like that?
So I would tell you that always our angels and guides are always with you. They have always been trying to guide us. And because we're on Earth, this is kind of like the big school. We are faced with challenges. We're faced with things we have to overcome. We're faced with connections with people that may be uncomfortable. And one of the things that a lot of my clients come to me is when they're at the point of, "I think I'm ready. I want to just dip a toe in." I kind of guide them slowly to do the next thing that they feel called to do. In some cases, it might be, book a session with me so we can just chat. It could be, have an energy session. It could be trying out a reading. So there's a lot of steps where they can kind of dip in and then see how they feel after. And it takes a little courage to find out what you're really supposed to be doing, because when you do, you might be challenged with, all right, now's the next step. And now I have to make a change. And now I have to understand where I'm going next. And it takes courage to be able to do that. So I would say just try a little at a time, step back, see how you feel, see if something resonates with you. The thing that I always caution about is people that go to like 98 different readers and they completely give their free will off to someone else without
Mm,
understanding that they should be using their own inner guidance to know what feels right for them and not just blindly follow something that doesn't feel right just because that person says that they're a psychic or a reader. You have to be very mindful. That's why I really need to guide people to use their own inner resources and intuition and not just blindly lead or follow. So that's
mm.
what I would caution against. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I love the term follow your gut or trust your gut, trust those instincts. And the more
Yes.
I learn about the, digestive system to the
Yeah.
brain, all the connections, it is wild. And
Yes.
yeah, we truly do need to listen to that internal GPS a little bit
Yeah.
more often. In
Yeah. Yeah.
2024, I don't think we've ever had the abundance of choices and options and resources. But for those just listening, I'm pointing to my head right now. This is an old
Yep.
operating system we have
Oh
up
yeah.
here. So sometimes we
Yeah.
need to trust those basics. I love
And a
that,
lot of
Rosemary.
overthinkers get so blocked. Like one of my clients that I worked with, he's now on a spiritual path. But when I first met him, he had a lot of psychic ability, very ungrounded, and he was so much in his head and so much in his thought process and so much in his ego, he couldn't shift. So I had to actually help him get the mind energy down into heart center. And then from heart center, figure out like what really he wanted, what was really it. It wasn't just all these people that told him what it should be. It should come from your heart and what you know that you feel is the right direction to go. And he was so much up here, he couldn't get down here at first.
Yeah.
But now, he's made a huge shift and he's on a spiritual path. But I've met a lot of people that were overthinkers that really blocked themselves. They just
Mhm.
couldn't release and surrender to like what I really want to do or where I should go next. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And there's another term for, I know we're not using the exact term of perfectionist here, but I think sometimes when we overthink, there's some of that
Yeah.
perfectionism creeping in. Another way to say that is procrastinating.
Oh, yes,
because
it
we're
absolutely.
delaying the action and we're delaying the decision.
Yeah. And I think people do that because they believe it's a protection. So the same thing when intuition comes in, a lot of people say, "Well, I don't know, I don't want to listen to my intuition because what happens if it tells me I have to make a change or I have to do something different?" They don't want to know because then again, they have to take action. And the action is the opposite of procrastination, which is the block for a lot of people, blocking
Yeah,
what they need to do next. So,
that's right.
yeah. Yeah.
Oftentimes, it's very simple solutions to our big complex problems. We just
Mm,
need to follow
absolutely.
that, trust your gut, and go for it. A lot of times,
Yes.
it's what we do. Most of the
Yep.
times, it's what we don't do
That's
that
right.
determines the level of success, health, happiness, whatever it is. I love
Right.
that.
I don't like
Well,
to-do lists, like when they say make a to-do list, I don't like those for a reason. I think I
okay.
like the done list. And I always say do the one next thing because someone that's a procrastinator, they look at a huge list, they're like, oh, I'm never going to get down there. Might as well not even try. So I say do the
Yeah.
next one thing you want to do and then put it on the to done list and then give yourself like credit for finishing that thing and then do another thing. And it
Yes.
kind of builds. Once you build your momentum, you begin to release the fear of change and the fear of what actions you need to take. And it really feels good for people when they get that, like, yeah, I did that thing, I just shifted that one thing and my whole world changed. I had one of my clients who went to one of my talks. We did a big event called Ignite Your Spark, and I had a lot of healers with me. And, we presented. And one of the women came up to me in absolute tears and she said, I'm in a lousy relationship. I don't know what to do. I'm so stuck. So I did a reading for her and I did a session. By the time we were done, within 1 month, she had broken up with her boyfriend, sold her condo, moved out of state, and revamped her business. And this woman is so happy. She met someone within like 2 months. She's engaged to him now. She has a successful business. And it was all because she, made this one change that started the momentum for other ones. And she was ready
Yeah.
to do it. She felt very inspired. And she's a wonderful woman. And I was so thrilled to see this change within a very, very short time that she was able to do.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. Sometimes it just takes that one domino and then
Yeah.
everything
Oh,
else is set into motion. I
that's
love
right.
that.
That's right.
That's wonderful. Well, Rosemary, let's talk a little bit about recharging because I know a lot of times people get overthinking when our batteries are a little low
Absolutely.
or we'll shy on sleep. And I know you and I have talked a lot about the
Yes.
outdoors. We've touched on
Yes.
the beach as a great, wonderful place. What are
Love it.
some things that you recommend when it comes to recharging yourself, both the framework of it and the actual doing of it when it comes to
Right.
recharging?
Okay, so one of the things I would say is you have to find your happy place. So I have the ocean as one of them and the forest for another. And living in a rural setting, we have the hiking areas near us. So part of what I would do for myself to recharge is I go out in nature. I could stand near a tree. I can, do the gratitude walk. So as I'm walking around our local lake, on one half I pray and the other half I do gratitude. So I
Mm,
kind of shift my mindset into look how much I have, look how lucky I am. And it begins to just shift any kind of little niggly things that we have. The other beautiful place is the beach. So the beach has beautiful ionized air. And since it's a 3 hour drive from my house, I can recreate the beach with a salt bath. So I put Epsom salt in the water. I run a sound machine. I listen to music. I take a little bath. So self care kind of things are wonderful for recharging us. And just really getting the mindset that anything we go through is for a purpose. We also have a sponsor break coming up, so I have to interrupt myself, and we'll be back on the Lightwalkers Path in about a minute or two. Please stay with us. Hi, this is Rosemary. Welcome back to the Lightwalkers Path with my co-host today, Ryan Dunphy, who's interviewing me, and we're just having a delightful conversation. So I hope you keep with us till the end of the show. So here we go, Ryan.
wonderful, wonderful. So, I think one thing that you're very big on, that you're practicing what you preach, is joy. Tell us a little bit about joy. Is this something that always comes naturally for you? Is this something you have to work at? Are there specific things that you build into the day or the week that bring you joy? And in a
Uh,
potentially very stressful time in the world for a lot of people. We're getting into the
yeah,
holidays, we got the end of the year, there's lots of different flavors going on.
yeah.
Is joy something that's super intentional? Does that come natural? Tell us a little bit about that.
Um, I was born an optimist, thank God for my father. My father was a very cheerful man and
Good.
very open, heart-centered person. So part of my life was to see the opposites of my parents. My mother was different. My mother was very analytical, very, very schooled and intelligent. My father was shoot from the hip kind of personality. So I took in both because I do admire education and I'm very educated, but I love the intuition and gut my father had. And as far as joy goes, I noticed that my father always lived with joy. No matter what was happening, he always looked at the bright side, he always cracked jokes. So, one of the things that I've internalized through my childhood was that if you smile, it's okay. You can help somebody just with smiling. And the other thing is, it's always a choice. So, no matter what on in my life, it's my responsibility to keep a joyful mindset by my choices of how I think about certain situations and perspectives. And I've been through a lot of different things in my life, and people will say, well, you have every reason you could have been angry or upset. But I don't believe that I'm going to allow that to take real estate in my brain. I know we all go through something. That's why we're here. And the choice is always to harness joy and happiness wherever you can. And if you are out of alignment with that, it's my responsibility for myself to get me back in the mindset that will bring me joy and that I can help other people. So that's kind of always my go to no matter what happens in my life.
Yeah, I love that. And just to expand a little bit about the personal responsibility, that's
Mhm.
huge.
It
That's huge
is.
for so many people. And let's start with the basic awareness.
Yeah, of
You are responsible for yourself.
course.
Your job is not responsible for your success. Your
No,
doctor is not responsible for your health. It's on
no.
you. You get to be in the driver's seat.
It's interesting, Ryan, because people almost think that happiness is like a bird that lands on your head, and when you get this bird on your head, you're happy. That yeah,
Right.
it's a choice. So no matter what it is, you have to make conscious choices of your perception, what you're going to let go of, what you're going to forgive, what is worth your energy and time. Because I'll tell you, worry eats up a lot of energy, distress. Old wounds that we don't heal, those things heat up and eat up a lot of our energy and joy if we allow it. We don't have to allow it. That's where it's our choice to try to heal from things that are hurtful to us. And it's our
Yeah,
responsibility to do so.
that's great. And it's important to
Yeah.
always instill that in kids as well. And I'm thankful that you had a great experience with that. And that's something
Yes.
that we're super intentional with our son about as well. So
Yes.
for everybody listening, Rosemary and I are almost neighbors. We're not too far apart. I talk to people
Yeah.
all over the country on a regular basis, but we
Yes.
have some hiking trails that we share as
Yes.
our favorites. At some
Yeah.
point, we'll have to get a real hike in person.
He'll
But
probably
I
kill me.
spent
I don't know. I don't know. I used to be
um,
able to hike like crazy. Now it's like everything like, oh, my hip's hurting. I don't know. My foot goes numb. So I don't hike
oh,
as long as I used to, when I
okay.
was younger. But I do love, being out in nature and walking and doing my best.
Yeah, we'll get out for a calm stroll. How about
There
that?
you go, a stroll.
It doesn't have to be a strenuous, exhausting
Yes.
thing. We'll make it. We'll find an enjoyable one.
There you go.
That's something that I'm very intentional with our son, and we both are of little moments.
Mm-hmm.
Their children are building their
Oh,
view of the world. They're building their mindset. So there's a lot of times where, so I live in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Our son
mm-hmm.
is in school in Emmaus, Pennsylvania, which if anybody knows this area, we're by Dorney Park, which is
Dorney
super fun.
Park. Yes.
But Route 78 can be a wonderful opportunity to get from one place to another very efficiently and effectively. And other
Mm-hmm.
days it is not.
Right.
And there sometimes is traffic, there sometimes are accidents or different things that happen. So we're very big on with our son, let's not focus on we're stuck in traffic. It's, hey, we're together in the car, we got plenty of
We're
gas in
talking.
the tank, we
Yeah,
can talk, we can listen to music, we
that's
have
it.
heat, we have air conditioning, we focus on all those good things. We said we hope the people that are in that crash are okay. And we're
Yeah,
thankful that we're not involved with that crash because
yeah,
oftentimes on that highway, there's multiple vehicles that are involved.
right, absolutely. Yeah,
So it's all those small things that are
yeah.
very important.
I did the same when I raised my son, who's now an adult, and he's really a great dad to his boys. And I think part of it, he's very well rounded. He's a fun father. He loves art and everything. He's very artistic, and his kids are as well, and he appreciates them. And it's really great to see the fathers now being so involved, and he's very affectionate with his kids too. Every day he tells me he loves them, and he's just a very good dad. And I'm like, thank goodness, because I tried to still in that him the things that I felt were values that he needed, and hopefully, he's doing all the things that I put in there that I baked into him.
Yeah, those investments are paying off. That's
Hmm.
wonderful. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, Rosemary, I'd love to shift gears a little bit here. I think you and I could have this show for 7 hours and not run out of things to talk about. But I want to be aware of the time as well. For everybody listening, tell us a little bit about Reiki. I know that's very big for you in your life, in your practice. Give us maybe a 101 for somebody that's maybe heard a little bit about it, but they haven't experienced yet.
Right.
One of my favorite exercises is tell me like I'm a 10-year-old.
Okay. So originally, when I wanted to learn Reiki, I had heard of something called therapeutic touch. And I didn't, and I knew it wasn't the same thing. So I explored what it was by going for a session back in 1994. And I was really amazed by the woman's hands because she touched me and all of a sudden they heated up. And I was feeling things in my body and I was feeling things move around. And I thought, this is incredible. How could it be? She's just touching me. So I kept calling the center back in 94 until she decided to teach Reiki. And I was one of her first master teachers that went all the way
Mm,
through her. And what I tell you is it's used in a lot of hospitals now. It's used in hospice, it's used for pain management, it's used for stress, and it's a very calming body session. So when I work on people, they just lay down and I put hands on different areas of their body, which are called the chakra or energy points. And it relaxes their body and it calms the parasympathetic nervous system down enough where their own body can help them heal. When I teach it and I train people, it does something which is kind of unusual. It releases a lot of their old thought patterns and allows them to release because these old things will come to the surface. So let's say someone has an issue with, I don't know, people with blue hair, okay? Then after I attune them, all the people with blue hair are going to come into their circle so that they can get rid of this prejudice or feeling about this group of people or this person that they might have
mm,
had trouble before. So a lot of the old issues will come up to be cleared. And I found this time and time again with students that I've trained. One of the things it does, and the reason why it does it, is it trying to raise the vibration of a person's energy field and their spiritual awareness so that they could be more enlightened and they could move forward. So for
mm.
me, changes happened right away, and my hands continued to get stronger energy as I worked with the energy on other people. So it's described as an energy modality that is for relaxation and calmness, although there's a lot more to it once you get a session or once you learn. And I've been practicing and working with Reiki since 1996. And
Mm.
I've worked with all kinds of people. I've trained chiropractors, acupuncturists, doctors, lay people, lawyers, like people from all walks of life. I've trained them. And it's been a really wonderful journey for me to see people move ahead on their journey and release things that no longer serve their highest good. So that's kind of it in
Mm.
a nutshell. I don't know if that explained it clearly enough, but you know,
Yeah, I love
it's
that. I love that.
places. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and for so many people, I think that we have these anchors we're dragging as we're trying to make progress. And
Yes.
something like this could be a wonderful, very helpful, very effective tool to help, cut some of those anchors off.
Absolutely. And you don't need them. The thing is, once they come up to the surface, they'll bubble up so people can understand, okay, that was the lesson. And then you can let it go. And once you let it go, you're freer, you know? Cut the ties that bind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. And as we're coming up to the end of the year here, a lot of people talk about New Year's resolutions. So
Mm,
as we're streaming this, it's December 10th right now. It's just wild. I feel like we just celebrated the 4th of July. But
right.
do you do anything with New Year's resolutions? What are your thoughts on those?
I really don't like resolutions because I
Yeah.
find that people make these crazy things that they never do. So, my resolution, if there is one, is that each day you resolve to do the best you can do. Each day you start with an intention, and each night you end with, how can I have done better today? And if you do
Mhm.
that, there's no need for a resolution because you've been doing it all year long. And to me, that makes more sense than that, like, I want to lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks, or I want to exercise every day, for an hour or two. Usually people don't stick with it. So by July, like the end of January, they're like, I'm done. So I
Right.
would say the only resolution I have each year, and I do this on my birthday, by the way, is that's where I set my intention to live that, to learn one new thing every time I have a birthday, and to live with joy each day the best I can, and to do my intention in the morning and my check-in at night. And I do that
Yeah.
every year. So it's more like a birthday thing than a resolution thing for me.
Sure. Yeah, and a year can
Yeah.
look different for everybody. Some people measure
Yes.
it from January through December. Other people measure it birthday to birthday. Uh,
Right.
what was it? Somebody measured it from, I think it was the 4th of July to the 4th of July. They just really
Yeah.
focused on Independence Day.
Yeah.
And they were on a journey towards more independence in their life. They had dealt with some situations where there was a
Right.
lot of entanglement, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
So independence was a very big thing for them. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's
That's
very
good.
wonderful.
I
And
think it's
I want
important
to,
too, Ryan. It's important to learn something all the time. Like keep learning because that keeps your brain young and it keeps you vibrant and alive. So each
that's
year learn something new. That's what
yeah,
I do. We're coming up on a sponsor break, Ryan. Be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is the Lightwalker's Path. My guest is Ryan Dunphy, and he's interviewing me today. So it's a little different than my usual show. So welcome back, Ryan.
wonderful. Thank you, thank you. Rosemary, I'd love to shift gears again a little bit and looking at into the future and the vision of what you're creating. What are you excited about in 2025?
Oh boy, that's a big one. I would love to do a big venue. I'd love to be a guest speaker at a big venue. That would be the first thing I'd like to do. I'm looking forward to going to Italy with my husband, so we have a trip planned here. And I'm going with my sister and brother-in-law. So that is really exciting. I'm learning how to speak Italian just because I want to know some words in case I get stuck anywhere in Italy. And I'm looking to, see more of my grandkids as I usually do and just see what they do in school and everything. Maybe some school visits, I don't know.
That's
Yeah. So,
awesome.
yeah,
Very cool.
up
Tell us a
to.
little bit about the venue. I'm sure there's lots of people that have benefited from you and what you're doing. Like, how can us listeners help you? How can we amplify you? Tell us more about what you're looking
Okay.
for, what you would speak on, and
Okay.
who knows who's out there listening right now.
Yeah, so I've spoken at different kinds of groups. I've spoken to a mom's groups. I've spoken at a school. I've spoken for a chiropractor. So there's many subjects. So as my business, I have two different hats I wear for my business, and I was a school teacher. So one of the avenues that I can speak on is working with creative kids. I'm a writer, so I have a lot of books published. I can speak on writing in general and creativity. For my business, my spiritual business, I could speak on connections with angels, connections with intuition practices, energy work, what that is, and that tapping into the body awareness. So I have a lot of different avenues that I've shared and I've spoken about in the past that I can do. I've been at my favorite one. I did a huge talk at Sussex County College. That was a big venue, and they
Mm,
had 1,000 people, and I was one of the speakers that did the connection with angels and a connection with energy. And I had two different talks, and I had a booked room. I had like maybe 35, 40 people in the room. So that was a
mhm.
lot of fun. I spoke it to my chiropractor when he moved into town. There was probably about 50 or 60 people in the room, and I was sharing about the angel realm and about how I connect with them. So there's lots of different things that I can do. Did a book talk and a book signing out at another event. So yeah, yeah,
That's
a lot.
wonderful.
things.
Yeah, that's great. So for everybody listening, let's find some more opportunities for Rosemary. That's
There you
wonderful.
go.
Very
There you go.
cool. Very
Yep.
cool. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. So yeah, 2025 I think is going to bring a lot of new energy for people, and we use that word in many different ways. And I
Yes.
think one of the words that I hear a lot is people are feeling burned out.
Oh,
What
yeah.
are
You
some things like if you were to take the next 10 minutes and talk about burnout in society,
sure.
personally, professionally, in 2024? I'm sure that you have a lot of these conversations, but why are
Yes.
people burning out? What can they do to start to recover from that? What might that look like? What are some different tools that either that you have or you could point to? Um, Talk to us about burnout.
So, one of the things that I see is that people don't value their themselves enough to step back and take a break. So, even in a very busy career, like for me, I would say, is there 5 minutes during lunch you can stand outside? Can you just clear your energy during lunch and just release anything that's stressing you? Take a few slow, deep breaths during the day. Are you bringing your lunch or are you eating junk at the cafeteria? What are you doing when you feel low? Are you like putting too much sugar in your system? Are you going for sweets, telling me that your serotonin is probably dropped? So I would say be mindful of your foods. Take time after work to leave work at work and be with your family. Um, your job, they'll get rid of you in a minute if someone else comes along and they don't want you there. So what you have to do is know that your family is really important and you have to make time for the things that are really important for you. I know a lot of people just live for money. They live for like the thing. They live for like, let's buy the big expensive house I can't afford. Sometimes living with less is a great thing. It's very freeing not to need all that stuff that you think you need. For me, I would suggest like services for me. I offer Reiki sessions, long distance and in person. I offer transformational talk sessions to help shift people. I have self-study courses that can help people. Other things, body work. I go for massages too when I need to relax. A massage is a great thing to do. I started doing that at a certain age because I hadn't done it my whole life. I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to book a massage. And now I love it. So now I book a massage like once every month or two. Um, Let go of things that bother you and determine what really it is that's underneath the thing that's bothering you. Sometimes when we have a boss, they remind us of a parent that used to tell you what to do, or they remind you of, a spouse or someone that really bothered you in the past. Sometimes if you get down to why you're so ticked off at someone, you'll find it's something in you haven't healed. So those things really, I think, help to shift people out of that burnout mode. And if you hate your job, find another one. I know people don't want to do that. They'd rather die in that job that they hate than chance looking for something that they might love. So I always say, what did you do as a kid that you love to do that you could make a career out of? What's the thing you love that you can shift and learn how to do? For me, it's teaching, and for me, it's guiding. And it's something I did both in my official, teaching career and also now. So, it's just something that lights me up. So you got to find the thing that lights you up and then
Yeah.
try it, even if you start it as a hobby, just dip in and try it out. And then when
Uh,
you're ready, make a shift.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful. And we were talking on our quick break. I actually just yesterday went over and got a sketchbook and a pencil
love that.
pouch and treated
Yes,
myself to colored pencils to
love it.
to the tune of $4.25 for everything.
There you
Uh,
go. That's entertainment for you. Yeah, it's
it
good.
doesn't
It's
have
really
to be a massive project. It can be something very simple.
We're back. We had a little tech glitch there. So thank you for staying with us. If you're listening, we appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I forgot what we were talking about before. Oh, the art. You said you
Sure.
bought some pencils. And I was saying like it could be anything that you love to do. Like for me, I love gardening. I love drawing. And even though I'm not a great artist, I actually illustrated two primary books that I wrote and published. And I did them for my grandkids. I said, you know what? I draw like a 10-year-old. It's okay. It's just something I wanted to try out and do. So,
Yes.
yeah. So I'm glad that you're doing that.
Yeah, and it's
I,
important to bring little versions of whatever it is that lights us up into every single day. So
yes.
we love Disney. Like we're big Disney
Oh
fans.
yeah, yeah.
Not
That's a
realistic to live there all the time right now, and
yeah,
we can't go into a Disney park every single weekend, but we have Dorney Park around here. And
yes.
actually, this Halloween, our son loves the Haunted Mansion. I'm a big fan of it as well.
Oh,
I
I
think it's
love the Haunted Mansion.
fun.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun.
So what
Yeah.
I did around Halloween time, we stayed up a little bit later until it was dark. You know, not like this time of the
Yeah.
year where it's dark at 4:15, but we stayed
Yeah.
up until it was dark. We shut all the lights off in the house and we went on YouTube and did a Haunted Mansion walkthrough. So
Oh,
some of these
that's
super
fun.
fans go through
Yeah.
there with these incredible cameras and it feels like you're there. We sat a little
Oh,
closer to the
fun.
TV and
Oh,
it was
that's
so cool. It's almost like we were back there in the
oh,
chair.
that what a great idea. It's funny when I first saw the holograms, I was probably 16 or 17. I went to Disney with my sister for the first time when I was 16 years old or 17. And I love the Haunted Mansion, and I was fascinated by like the head in the globe and the
Right.
3D holograms. And that in college, when I went to college, my teacher, one of her hobbies was creating holograms. So she brought a holographic tube in and she showed us a hologram that she made. And this was way back, like years ago before anybody had this stuff, in their homes. And it was the coolest thing to see. And that's a lot of the technology that's so common now for Disney. But yeah, Disney's a great place. I love it
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
exhausting but
Good
fun.
example of always innovate, always create
Innovative.
different things,
I
imagine
love
different things.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's a
very
lot of
cool.
fun. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And Rosemary, tell us a little bit about some of the children's books that you have. So we talked about kids
Yeah.
multiple times throughout this session. Tell us about
Yes.
some of the books that you have. Where can people find those books? What are some of your favorite ones? Is there anything in the queue? Are you working on anything right now?
Yeah, I'm always working on something, but I have let's see, I have three published primary books for grades 1 through 3 that I illustrated and wrote, mainly for my grandkids. That's how they came out. Everything's on Amazon and on my websites. I have three published middle grade fiction called the Time Wheel series for ages 10 or 11 to 14. And they've got some time travel in them, and it's about a boy that finds a magical prayer wheel that sends him back in time and actually adjusts his karma or his problems or his sadness. And then he brings friends on his journey with him. The first one, Time Wheel, won a literary award. Then I have, let's see, I have three spiritual books. One is called Divine Messengers, about my spiritual path with angels and Reiki. And then Inspired by Angels, a book from the heart, is another one that's a workbook for people. And the third one in that group is Wisdom, Sages, and Angels, also a workbook for people. I'm working on young adult. One of them's called Child of Lights and Maiden of Lights. That's going to be a trilogy, and that's for ages like 15 up.
Mhm.
And I have another one that's already published called The Hermit of Laramie, and that's something I wrote during COVID about this hermit or this gardener that finds himself hermited in the castle with his cat, and everybody's gone. He doesn't know where they went to. And then he finds out that there's also these creatures that are made of stone that live in the castle walls that he never knew about, and he learns how to let them out. And then it's kind of like a mystery and a little bit of an adventure. And I wrote that just because it was fun, COVID, because everybody felt like hermits. So
Yes.
yeah, so they're on Amazon, and if they can't find them through Amazon, they can go to rosemaryd.com. And I have two websites. The other one's called Grow Your Spirit Books. And if you click, you'll see all the books. You can click, and it brings you a quick link to Amazon. And I have them in my home office if you're in New Jersey or PA and you're close by.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
wonderful. That's
yeah,
wonderful. Yeah, that the whole concept of time traveling and warping to
I
different
love
places, I think
that.
that's so
I'm
stinking cool.
always fascinated with time travel stuff. And
Yeah.
I think like if I can go back and just like spend a few days and see how life was at different places, but then not stay there because I don't really want to stay back in medieval times or, any area where they can't shower a lot. It's just
Indoor
no,
plumbing's
thank you.
pretty cool. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know, I know.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be so neat to just, see different places and just experience life as it used to be for a day or two. That's why I
Yeah.
like, you ever go to Plymouth, Massachusetts, to see like where the pilgrims were and the old villages or the old houses. I just love all that. That's fun.
That's very cool. Yeah, they do
Yeah.
the Dickens Days in Clinton, New Jersey. That's always
Yes.
neat
Yeah.
to see around Christmas time
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Rosemary,
Yeah.
if you walked out into your garage later today and there was a DeLorean there, where are some places or time frames that you would go visit?
I would love to see the Native Americans when they first were here, when the land was pure and there was teepees and all that. But I'd like to see the peaceful Native Americans, not the ones that wanted to kill me in my car, because
Okay.
I have a very strong connection with that. I think their culture's beautiful. I love their
Yeah.
connection to the land. I think they're guardians of the land. I'm fascinated with their beliefs and just how they do things. I'd love to see it. Like my favorite movie is Dances with Wolves.
Hmm.
Um, that was
Costner, yeah.
with Costner. That was a
Yeah.
beautiful movie, and just it makes me cry. Like when I see these beautiful culture and the people and the things that happen to them, it just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that'd be one place I'd love to see. I would like to visit the Renaissance area in Italy to see the great masters and the painters like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo. I would just love to just meet them and just chat. That would be so cool. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, it reminds me of,
Yeah.
since we already talked about Disney, the big uh, globe thing that they have there in Epcot. I think that's Spaceship Earth, where it brings you through all the
Yeah.
different time periods. And it's
Yes.
just incredible when we think about, let's even look at the last 100 years, how much
Unbelievable.
changed in 100 years. Um,
Yes.
I had an incredible client for many years. She kind of became an adopted grandmother, but I got to work with her from age 95 through she was just about 101 when she
That's
passed away. And I
cool.
got to be part of the
Wow.
team to help her live
Yeah.
independently in her house. And we were doing squats in her kitchen, I think 10 days before she passed away.
Oh, God
Just
bless her.
an amazing person. But when I think about all the different iterations
So
and
many
inventions,
things.
different things that she saw from 1918 through 2019, like, was
Yes.
just bonkers to
My
think about.
grandfather said the same thing. He said he had seen going from the horse and buggy when he first arrived in America when he was 13
Yeah,
to the first spacewalk to airplanes, like all the technology in a short period of time that he experienced. And he
right.
came in as an immigrant at 13 and he worked and he had to learn the language. And I mean, he bought houses here and he really did well for himself coming in with nothing. I mean, it's
Right.
it's amazing these old people, the strength and the character that our recent ancestors had, that
Yeah.
is kind of lacking in some degree in some of the people now. But my goodness, what strong and independent people they were, right?
Yeah.
All the
Uh,
technology and life they lived.
And I think
Yeah.
there's a lot to be said there for the resilience and appreciation. Like, think
Yes.
about, we'll use airplanes, we just
Oh
mentioned
my.
that. So think about, now we get all stressed out if there's a
Yeah.
30-minute delay
I
on our
know.
flight.
It's like, so
So we
what?
can
Just breathe. Yeah.
Right. So we can go all the way across the country in what, 6.5 hours
Absolutely. Yeah.
versus that being a multi-month
Yes.
expedition.
I even think of like 30 minutes away. Like if I was to go to Bethlehem, PA now from my house on a horse and buggy, it may take me a few days, where now I could travel to you in like 40 minutes or
Right.
an hour at the most. I can go see my son who's 60 miles away. That might have taken me a couple days in the past. It's just
Right.
incredible how the world has shrunk. Like, even the internet, how you can talk to someone in another country on
Right.
Zoom. I mean, you'd never have that opportunity to
Yeah.
know or to meet people except outside your very tiny community. And that's
Not.
just quite fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I was able to contain my curiosity, and I didn't interrupt you earlier before. You mentioned long distance Reiki. So since
Yes.
we're talking about reaching different people in different places, what does that look like?
It's very strange, but if you think about it, like in quantum physics, you know how there's a particle here and there's a particle there. And they've
Mm-hmm.
done research where intention can link these two particles so that they entrain to each other. So the
Mm.
thing behind any kind of long distance healing, including prayer, is that you're linking your mindset in the general field to that other person's body or mind because we're all truly connected.
Yep.
So long distance Reiki works where I can do it two ways. I can either have you in front of me on the screen and I can send energy to you, or I can send energy virtually using a photograph, a stuffed animal, your name, or intention. And it's kind of the same way when I do a reading for someone. I don't have to know them. I have to hear their voice, and I connect with their voice, I connect with their energy, and then I connect with their angel. And then I could do a reading for them without knowing them, with just, a couple basic questions about who, their name and such.
Uh-huh.
So it works the same way, and it's fascinating to me. I actually worked with the one woman that she books with me quite often. Her husband's a doctor, a medical doctor, and I almost say his name, but he had a surgery, and he asked me if I could do long distance Reiki with him on Zoom, and I
Mm.
did, and I guided him. And as I'm doing it, he was feeling heat go through his body and out the back of his head from where his hand was placed and where I was sending the energy, and he healed pretty fast. And he booked in two long distance sessions with me while after surgery.
Mm.
And it worked. I mean, it was quite amazing, that would work. I had another client, a child, that the mother said, "Can you send Reiki to him in the hospital room?" And as I'm sending Reiki to him, I didn't have to see him. I was getting a visual of the room he was in. I saw the teddy bear, I saw the thing behind the bed, like in my mind's eye, and I was
Right.
seeing the child and I was sending energy. And that child had kind of like a spontaneous, he woke up from like this real solid sleep that he was having, and he was feeling better. So I thought that was quite amazing that it could work that way. And it works the way it's supposed to. That's the way, I worked on another child in person. This little girl had a brain tumor, and it was sad because as I'm working on her, she's looking at me and she's going, "You got to work with mommy instead. I'm fine. The angels are here. I don't need anything. My mommy does." And the girl
Mm.
did pass within the month, but she knew her mother needed the energy more than she needed it because she knew where she was going next. Like that was
Wow.
incredible, right? And it's sad for me. It broke my heart, really. But
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Wow. That is incredible. So for everybody listening, you don't have to be here in New Jersey to benefit from this. So you could do it over Zoom or I'd imagine FaceTime or the phone. That's so
Yeah.
cool, Rosemary.
Thank you. Yeah, so it looks like we're coming on the last minute of the show, so I have to do the outro now. And so, Ryan, thank you so much for spending your time to interview me this week. I appreciate
You
it
are
very much. You could find Ryan or me on our websites. And last week I interviewed Ryan, so you can look at last week's podcast. And this is the Lightwalker's Path. You can learn more about workshops, sessions, books, or courses at rosemaryd.com. And Ryan, they could find you on Facebook or LinkedIn, correct?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, probably too much time on Facebook, and it is
Okay.
Ryan Dunphy. Yes, like
Okay.
Modern Family,
Yeah.
Dunphy. We are the Dunphys.
Good. Perfect. Oh, thank you so much for your time. This has been the Lightwalker's Path. Please visit next week, and we'll have another session at 10 a.m. Lightwalker's Path. Thanks. I'm your host, Rosemary DiTrolio, and you've been watching and listening to The Lightwalker's Path. Learn about my workshops, sessions, courses, and more at info@rosemaryd.com. My website, rosemaryd.com, Hands of Light by Rosemary. Have a blessed and beautiful day.